only regret is that the guy didn't spend enough time practicing first. It is insane how much conservatives get to set the fucking standard on all the conversation in this country. It's absolutely insane. We're supposed to jump up and feel sad that the guy who is one of the most divisive presidents in all of history got shot at? Fucking give me a break.
Hello everyone, Ace here, and today we're taking a little bit of a break from Short Fat Otaku, and instead moving on to Destiny, who has decided to produce his own spicy takes with regards to the recent assassination attempt on Donald Trump. And if you thought Dev was being biased and a moron for trying to argue that both sides are equally bad, and that Donald Trump was somehow equally responsible for the assassination attempt against him as the actual gunman, well, wait till you hear what exactly Destiny has had to say on this matter. Admittedly, at the very beginning of this controversy, Destiny didn't quite sound as unhinged as Dev, trying to shout both sides are equally bad, as Destiny began by stating, quote, "I'm honestly conflicted on how I feel about the shooting, but we'll chat about it on stream tomorrow." This is still a pretty terrible tweet considering the context that it's dealing with an assassination attempt, so trying to say that you feel conflicted about it is probably not exactly the correct answer. That said, it's also ambiguous enough that it's not completely irredeemable on its own. However, then Destiny decided to provide some clarification. As such, Destiny states, quote, "Let me clarify. When I say conflicted, what I mean is that I lean towards seeing it as a natural extension of the thing Trump and the MAGA kids support, so I don't think I have much sympathy about the attempt enough to chastise people celebrating it." So yeah, that clarification showed that Destiny believes that it's perfectly acceptable for his political opponents to face assassination attempts, to the tune that he can't even be bothered to condemn the assassination attempts, even as a vapid virtue signal. As you could tell, this particular situation went from 0 to 100 really fast, and resulted in Destiny getting into a debate with Whick TV over the subject. I'll admit I'm not exactly familiar with Whick TV's work. This is honestly the first time I've even heard of him, so I'm not sure I would recommend his channel, but what I can say is that the actual debate itself is rather eye-opening and itself is at least worth watching. And it's entirely because of how unhinged Destiny proves himself to be, as he's now just openly in favor of trying to assassinate political opponents now.
The whole idea that, like, well, the reason why we're here is because liberals and the left just haven't cucked out enough. The reason why we're here, the reason why we don't have our Supreme Court justice, the reason why Trump has to get criminal immunity to survive his court case is because the left just isn't kind enough. Nah, I'm over it. I'm super over it. My only regret is that the guy didn't spend more time. Yeah, that's exactly what you're saying.
That is not what I'm saying.
Hold on. You're saying we're here right now because the left is like turning the temperature too much. No, we're here right now because Trump is fucking insane, because he has support from 90% of the conservatives in the Republican Party who are entirely un-American. Fuck them. Whatever happens, happens. I don't give a fuck. At this point, my only regret is that the guy didn't spend enough time practicing first. It is insane how much conservatives get to set the fucking standard on all the conversation in this country. It's absolutely insane. We're supposed to jump up and feel sad that the guy who is one of the most divisive presidents in all of history got shot at? Fucking give me a break. Please give me a fucking break.
Okay, one person is dead who isn't Trump, right, who got shot out. Someone in the crowd that was just going to a rally who got fucking murked by this guy. And two others are in critical condition. I think it's okay to show a little empathy, don't you?
You're right. Hold on. I'm sorry. I didn't know somebody else died. What state was this in?
Pennsylvania. My state.
Swing state voter. Fuck you. Sorry, what?
So yes, as you can see, even a so-called quote-unquote moderate, such as Destiny, is still of the opinion that gunning down his political opponents is completely acceptable. And note that I am indeed using the term moderate very loosely here, but since Destiny is the poster child of what progressives want you to think a moderate is amongst their movement, I'm just going to say that if gunning down your political opposition, or at least supporting the gunning down of your political opposition, is a position held by the poster child of the moderate progressives, then just imagine how extreme the actual extremist progressives truly are. There is more to talk about with regards to tweets that Destiny has made, and so I will be going back to them now. I should mention though, for the record, that a number of the tweets that people have been taking issue with do in fact appear to be spicy jokes that Destiny has made, and jokes themselves shouldn't really be taken seriously. For this reason, I have decided and not to go over the joke tweets. Fortunately, there is plenty to talk about with regards to tweets that aren't jokes that Destiny has made. For example, in response to Lauren Southern stating, quote, "I think there's a reasonable middle ground where you can think all forms of political violence are bad, but who knows, I'm just a crazy MAGA or something, I guess." Destiny responds to this tweet by stating, quote, "A reasonable middle ground implies a reasonable party on both sides of the conversation, and right now there aren't two reasonable parties in the USA." To be fair to Destiny, he is technically correct when he says that there aren't two reasonable parties in the USA right now. The Democrats are completely unhinged after all, especially when they have a significant voter bloc, including moderate progressives like Destiny, who openly support assassinating their political opponents. So while Destiny is technically correct in his statement, I don't believe he's correct in the way that he had in fact intended. Later on, Destiny decides to respond to someone else by stating, quote, "What are you talking about, you valueless, soulless fucking banshee? The right has been walking this fucking country off of a cliff for years. While Trump was trying to dismantle the country, you fucking retards cried about trans people and woke schools. Please go get drafted." I feel I should mention for additional context that the crying about trans people and woke schools was in fact complaints about the fact that schools were giving porn to kids as part of their education. To provide just one example of what I'm talking about, consider the book titled It's Perfectly Normal, which is meant for kids ages 10 and up. The contents of this book includes pages such as, for example, this one. And for the record, I do need to mention that I had to add the black bars, as the original version of this page showed absolutely everything. This is the kind of stuff that Destiny is trying to defend with that tweet by claiming that Republicans are absolutely unhinged if they take any issue whatsoever with giving that book to 10-year-olds in school. To provide another example of Destiny acting completely unhinged, let's move on to Destiny actively celebrating the fact that an innocent bystander was killed during the assassination attempt. As Destiny states, quote, "A person in a crowd cheering for and supporting a traitor to this country caught astray? I'm so sad, please." So yes, Destiny is so unhinged that he is going the whole guilt by association route to try to morally justify an innocent bystander being gunned down exclusively because he went to a Trump rally. This dude's family had to watch him die there. They had to witness his brain matter on the bleachers. And Destiny's position is that this is perfectly acceptable because he went to a Trump rally. And to further point out the fact that Destiny believes in guilt by association, there is also this tweet where Destiny states, quote, "Donald Trump incited an insurrection and then was granted full criminal immunity for possibly all of his involvement. I have zero sympathy for anything that happens to him or anyone who supports him. I will argue this position against any and all conservatives of reasonable size, but there's a reason none of you spineless hacks step outside of your echo chambers." So yes, Destiny absolutely supports assassination attempts against his political opposition and has absolutely zero qualms about whatever may happen to innocent bystanders who may get killed in these attempts. Because daring to show up to a Trump rally is enough to justify you getting murdered in the eyes of Destiny. In all honesty, these takes from Destiny are so hot that they do in fact fall into the category of actual incitement to violence. And as such, people have called upon Elon Musk to censor Destiny by demonetizing his tweets, meaning that they will get pushed down in the algorithm as a result. To summarize my thoughts on the idea of Destiny being censored, allow me to provide my tweet on that particular matter where I state, quote, "To be fair, I do not support censoring my political opponents and thus do condemn this course of action. The fact that Destiny has spent the past day doing all he can to support the Donald Trump campaign through sheer unhinged lunacy is also another reason." In other words, yes, as far as I'm concerned, Destiny is indeed trying to incite violence. Do I think he should be censored for it? No. In fact, I want his word to spread as far and wide as possible. I want as many people as possible to see what a moderate progressive looks like. And it turns out that a moderate progressive is an absolutely violent lunatic who is so unhinged that he will happily defend the assassination attempts against his political rivals. He'll even defend innocent bystanders being killed because they dared attend the rally of said political opposition. And I don't even have to point to actual extremists within the progressive crowd like Hassan Piker or Vosh. I get to point at moderates like Destiny who say these sorts of things. Destiny's words here have become a fantastic asset to utilize against the progressive crowd. He has just performed unwittingly a massive favor for everyone who is against wokeness. He has, with these statements, exposed himself for his own true moral character and has shown the kind of man that his ideology breeds. So yes, I want his words to spread as far and wide as possible. I want as many people as possible to understand the true moral fiber, or lack thereof, that dwells within your typical moderate progressive. To this end, I will of course be providing in the description below links to the tweets that I've used, so you can check them all out for yourself if you should so desire. I'll also be providing a link to a video that fellow YouTuber Asmogan did with regards to Short Fat Otaku, because Asmogan has decided to start covering how Short Fat Otaku has continued to put his foot in his mouth, in this case by also trying to downplay the death of the innocent bystander who was killed at the Trump assassination attempt, because the bystander in question was putting out tweets that Dev considered to be, quote, concerning, unquote, even though they're not actually concerning if you look at them. The implication here is because the dude said some things that Dev arbitrarily decided was concerning, that it somehow makes his death less of a tragedy. Like I said, Asmogan goes further into detail on the subject, and so, again, I will be leaving a link to his video in the description below. But in any case, this has been Ace. Hope to see you guys again soon. Take care. Ace out.